All right. Obviously, pretty tough night. I want to start and just say a big credit to Will Wade and North Carolina State. You know, they obviously have high aspirations to be a really good basketball team. Tonight, they showed their potential of how good they can be. Will's done a good job. Everywhere he's coached, he has a really fiery, competitive spirit that his teams respond to. You know, they poured a lot of resources into that team. They've done a really good job very quickly, you know, putting themselves in a position where they can win and they can win big. With that being said, you know, from top to bottom, we were terrible tonight. Obviously, the score reflects that. As a coaching staff, I thought we got outcoached from top to bottom. You know, they adjusted. We tried to adjust. None of it worked. Our players did not play, you know, again, with the level of effort and competitive spirit that we need. Our execution was terrible. Our sense of urgency was bad. We didn't attack. They switched 1 through 5. We didn't attack their switching. Defensively, you know, one of our game plan keys tonight going into the game was their three-point shooting. They're number one in the ACC in three-point percentage and makes. And one of our sayings is close the touch. And that means if I close out, I can reach out and touch you. And if you go back and watch their threes, I don't want to give you a number because I'm going to watch the film, but very few of their three-point attempts did we close the touch. They didn't feel us. And after you make a couple, you get going, that hoop seems like it's about a mile wide. You have to adjust your urgency in your closeouts, and we didn't adjust all night. That's why I made 19 threes. Good players, good shooters are going to make shots, even when contested. Good shooters become some of the best shooters in the world if they don't feel a defender closing out on them, and we didn't close out all night. And then, you know, the boards is 44-25. It's completely unacceptable. To me, two things really stand out when talking about this game. The rebounding, because to me, rebounding is a will thing. A little bit size. Obviously, you know, we're going to be a little short at times and get out physical at times, but it's still a heart. It's a heart and a focus thing, rebounding. And then the other thing is deflections. We want to play with a sense of urgency defensively, which we did 0 of tonight. We had, I believe, 13 or 15 deflections. Our goal is 33 for the game, so less than half of our goal. And that, to me, is a direct correlation, obviously, with the score, but also with our focus and urgency going into this game. It just was not there. And there's only so many things you can draw up in a timeout. There's only so many adjustments you can make. If your guys don't have the heart to go compete, you know, we got to find different guys. And a lone bright spot to me was Thomas Basong tonight. We were planning on already playing him a little more. He's had some really good practices, and he was probably the only guy. Rob in spurts before he got in foul trouble, which I don't know what to say about your starting point guard, all ACC point guard fouling out in 20 minutes. But Thomas, for the most part, had the right energy and the most consistent spirit in terms of wanting to be there and wanting to play a basketball game today. Everyone else, we should have just sent them to Gordo's and called it a day and had lunch, because with our effort level, I mean, I'm actually surprised that we only got beat by whatever it was, 41. We should have got beat by 70 tonight with the way we played.
A question for Coach, please. What do you attribute effort coming for this bunch?
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure that out. I'm doing a poor job of it. Quite frankly, everyone on an individual level is motivated by different things. Some people are motivated by money. Some people are motivated by the love of the game. Some people are motivated by family. You know, everyone has their internal triggers that get you going. And so, and I felt pretty good going into this game of where we were. Obviously, that feeling was not correct of where we were and how we performed. But on an individual level, I need to continue to do a better job finding ways to motivate guys. And on a collective level as a team, I told our guys one of the best, you know, things I ever learned from playing the game of basketball is basketball as a sport is a direct microcosm of life. If you show up with a lot of heart and a good way about you, you treat people the right way, you're a team player and you'll do anything to help the person next to you, you show up with good effort, you show up with a good attitude, regardless of circumstances, things tend to go your way on the basketball court and in life. And that has nothing to do with talent. Now, if you have a lot of talent, things can go really well, you know, but tonight, if any of us showed up in our life with the effort and attitude that our team put together on the court tonight, we would fail in life. And whether they know it or not, life's coming at them quick. It's going to show up. Can't play basketball forever. And so to me, the biggest thing, and this goes back from Coach Hamilton and other mentors, is the way you play basketball oftentimes is how you live your life. And if you're inconsistent, your life is going to have a lot of ups and downs. And you're going to anyway. So life hits you with curveballs. But even with that, you can't get kicked in the teeth for 40 straight minutes and not respond. At minimum, maybe try to dodge one time. You know, at best, maybe try to hit back. You know, punch someone back in the mouth. And I'm looking for something in this group that right now I've seen over the past few weeks that we're capable. It's more if we're willing to hold each other accountable as teammates. And I've seen it sporadically, which is why as a team we're inconsistent right now. We play some games, the Duke game, even though we lost, and other games throughout the year where there's some hope. There's some hope in our team because, you know, there's a level of fight and a level of accountability within the group. I walk in the huddle and they're already saying the things I'm going to tell them. Tonight, I didn't feel that at all. It was quiet. I was looking for someone to lead. No one really stepped up. And they just continued to punch us in the mouth with no response, which obviously is very frustrating as a coach. But, you know, we got a lot more games to go. And I'm hopeful, and I'm going to continue to keep finding ways to motivate these guys and pull them together. But I'm hopeful we can get back to the group, win or lose, that we can walk out of this building and say, you know what, I left it all out on the court. Tonight we didn't do that.
In those last couple of games, Duke and Carolina, seemed like a competitive spirit was there.
Yeah.
I guess how disappointed or surprised you that it went back down?
Yeah, I'm extremely surprised with the way we played tonight, which is not a good thing to be a leader of an organization and be completely surprised by anything. Usually you have a pretty good feel. Obviously earlier in the season when we lost those string of games in a row, I had a really good feel for our team that we were nowhere near where we needed to be. And we pushed them when we pulled them. Our practices were super intense. There was fist fights all over the place, not in a bad way, but it was so intense that you feel like it just overflows. And that eventually led to better results on the court. And if you put me on lie detector, going into this game, I felt like we were in a great spot mentally, emotionally, together as a team, connected. I thought our game plan was great going into the game. And, you know, for whatever reason, and I don't have the reason right now, and I'm going to try to find it, for whatever reason, we showed up and laid an egg. And it's completely unacceptable from top to bottom, including myself. I thought I coached a poor game. Again, we were searching, and we were trying to, we went zone, we pressed, we fell back, we switched 1 through 5, we blitzed. Nothing worked, and nothing will work if you don't have the right mentality and urgency on the court. So yeah, I was surprised, and again, I'm hopeful that because I've seen our group be capable of playing the right way, I'm hopeful we can get them back. These games are going to keep coming. You know, we got at Syracuse, in the next few games, we're playing a really good Miami team. We're playing SMU, Wake Forest, Syracuse. These games don't get any easier. You know, NC State's a really good team. They're not, I don't know how much we lost by. They're not 44 points better than us.
You talked about using Hamas maybe more minutes. Are there other guys that either get more minutes or can use minutes as a motivator for guys who are sparring with the energy that you're looking for?
Wow, that's a great question. I feel like you're encouraging me to find those guys, which I'm open for business. Again, at a bare minimum, I can't play guys that don't want to give it all. It just, you can't do it. I don't care how much I like it. I love these kids. I love our kids. They're really good kids. But in order for a lot of these guys, and especially most of our team is coming up from the lower or mid-major level. This is big-time basketball. You call it whatever you want. This is as close to professional basketball. Some people would argue it is professional basketball. These guys are making a lot of money to play basketball. Maybe not as much as our opponent on any given night, but the reality is you're getting a lot of money to show up and go to school. All right, you got to graduate, you got to stay eligible, and hopefully get a good degree, and then you got to perform as a basketball player. It's as simple as that. And right now, if you don't perform, similar to what I said earlier, going back to life, if you don't perform in life, you're going to get replaced. You call it harsh, that's life. If you write bad articles every day, eventually you don't have a job anymore. If I coach basketball the way I coach tonight, eventually our administration will let me go and they'll find someone that's better. If you're a player and you don't perform, you play a little bit less, maybe you get pulled from the starting lineup, you play a little bit less, eventually you don't play at all, and eventually you never play basketball again. You got to find a real job. That may be harsh and black and white, but that is a reality of currently what we're living in and what they're going to see in life. So it's not, to me, it's not pressure. It's an absolute privilege to get to show up and play basketball at a high level in front of a lot of fans that want to cheer you on and have the opportunity every night to compete. A lot of people in life don't get that opportunity. They got to sit at a desk and work a job they might not like. I hope our guys like their job. I friggin' love basketball. I love playing it. I love coaching it. I'm eager every day to get back in the office. If you don't have that at minimum but love for the game, you're going to be in trouble.
Luke, how do you think this group is going to respond? You play in 3 days on the road, and that's a place to play. Like, how did they? I don't know what the message was after the game. I'm sure it was all that polite. But what do you want to see from this team and how they respond?
Yeah, but how I think they're going to respond is how I hope they're going to respond. They're going to be embarrassed and upset and work together to get better. You get in the gym to improve the areas we need to improve. The simple things, the free throws, but all of those things, all of the skill things are a direct correlation to if your heart's in the game or not. And I'm hopeful we're going to respond and go up to Syracuse and play the way we're capable of. And if I said anything otherwise, I shouldn't be coaching here. You know, if I said, I think we're not going to respond and we're going to go get beat by 44 again, you need to find a new coach. But we're going to do our job as a staff to continue to push these guys, continue to try to help them. But our guys got to want to play. They got to want to show up and win games.
You guys said Tomas had a good week of practice. He had a good night tonight. Is he where you thought you should be right now when you started in the fall?
Yeah, I look at all freshmen because I went through it. There's going to be some growing pains for Tomas and for Cam. These guys are freshmen playing real minutes in the ACC, real minutes. Other teams that we're going up against have McDonald's All-Americans that are playing less than our 2 freshmen. So we're going to have to live with some growing pains. The biggest thing to me that Tomas brings to the table is he plays with a ton of energy. And sometimes that leads to mistakes that as a staff, we're starting to, and I'm never okay with just like, you make as many mistakes as you want. As a staff, I'm starting to be a little more okay with, as long as he's playing with great energy, you got to work through some of those mistakes as a freshman, hoping that as he develops, those mistakes become less and less. But again, Tomas gets on the court and he's going to give you everything he has. And sometimes it's pretty and sometimes it's not. But I'll tell you this, he's going to be an unbelievable player. He just is about the right things. He's coachable. He'll look you in the eyes. When he makes a mistake, it hurts him. To me, he's just getting to the point. Athletically, he's long, he's active, but he's just getting to the point where he's starting to understand the game a little bit, which can be scary. If he with his energy and body type starts to understand basketball, he's going to be a very good player for a long time.
Everybody else said?
Thank you, guys. You got something? Go ahead.
I did have a question. I'm
Go ahead.
sorry.
No, go ahead.
Sorry. You had 6 different players with exactly 1 assist and nobody with more than that. So when the ball sticks like that, is it a failure of the point of attack to trigger the offense, or are the wings just not cutting hard enough to present viable passing lanes?
Yeah, it's a good question. Touched on this a little bit after the team. It really doesn't matter what we draw up, and we got to be a little more creative to help our guys. If you can't break down your initial defender and create an advantage where you force an opponent either to help, and if they don't help, it should be one-on-one at the rim where you got to finish. But as soon as they help, that's your advantage, right? Now you have an immediate advantage somewhere on the court that you have to find, and then you have to keep the advantage until you score the ball. That's what leads to assists. If you can't create that initial advantage, if you're guarding me and you just stay in front of me the whole time and I don't use either my change of direction, speed, a screen, something to get by you, there's no advantage. And when there's no advantage, doesn't matter who you pass to, defense is going to sit in front of you. That's where if you watch us play, we were just patty caking around the perimeter with the ball. We never really broke down the defense to the level where we created help and then created backside opportunities or rim opportunities that lead to assists. So that's why our assist numbers were so low. Obviously, we got to find ways to create advantages. Some of that is through play calling. Some of that is guys making up their mind that I'm going to beat my initial defender and force the defense into less advantageous opportunities. Thank you, guys.